I was driving home from work the other day and the sun was shining, the fields were gorgeous and green, and there was a whole line of daffodils just along the side of the road. And I was like, wow, spring is definitely here and it is one of my absolute favorite times of the year. If you're like me and you are a total spring baby, then you are going to love today's video because I've put together a collection of my most beloved cozy games that really capture the heartwarming, serene feeling of spring. If you love cozy gaming and you want more recommendations and cozy game updates, don't forget to like and subscribe, but let's get into this list. So first off, we're going to hop into the games that feature an animal that is an icon of spring, and that is, of course, the bunny. And the first bunny themed game is Bunny Park. This one has been out for a few years now and is available on the Switch and also PC. The aim of the game is to create the perfect habitat for bunnies and take care of them by ensuring they have enough snacks. The gameplay does act a little bit like an idle game, as the majority of the time you are clearing up debris and collecting coins from the bunnies in order to purchase new items from the shop or to expand your park. The game is very laid back and super chilled, and if you're thinking you've seen this adorable graphic style before, you will be right, as it is by the same creator as Lemon Cake. My one downside to this game is that I feel like the controls on PC could have been more intuitive. However, there are good reminders at the top of the screen. Overall, it's a very adorable casual game that is, of course, all about the bunnies. At number 2, we have Cinnabunny, which is a recent release on Steam, and so far it has had very positive reviews. This is a cozy life simulator where, of course, you play as a rabbit, but this rabbit is not just here to enjoy the carrots in the sun. Instead, you'll be able to run your very own bakery, and to keep your bakery stocked, you must locate new recipes and forage or farm for ingredients. Outside of the kitchen, there is also a small village to explore, and there are multiple different mini games to play. There is also a local co-op mode if you have another bunny to play with. Cinnabunny is currently only available on PC. If you made a game about a bunny who owns a greenhouse, the only appropriate name would of course be Bunhouse, and this is exactly what the developers here did. In this game, you play as a bunny who is managing a greenhouse. There isn't a whole lot of story here, as you just mainly focus on the growing of your plants and then selling them to make a profit to reinvest in your greenhouse. There are lots of different upgrades, new items, and new seeds to experiment with. The growing mechanics are not all that complicated, but you definitely do need to keep an eye on your plants and ensure they are well looked after, as I did have a few die on me. You can also change up the appearance of your greenhouse and even row your own boat out onto the lake to do some fishing. Bunhouse does very much have a sandbox feel to it, and at times it did feel a little bit slow, but I did enjoy seeing my greenhouse thrive. Bunhouse is available on PC, Switch, Xbox, and PlayStation. At number 3, we have Thray, which is due to be released on PC on the 18th of April. Thray is a short, cozy adventure game where you play as a bunny who is on the road to becoming the legendary Easter Bunny. The main gameplay revolves around delivering enchanted eggs to otherworldly inhabitants. Each inhabitant will have their own desires for their dream egg, so getting it right counts. On your journey, you will find different egg recipes, secret locations, and rare resources. You can also enjoy various mini-games and puzzles, such as solving traps and matching the pair game. All of this action is set in a very whimsical world, and honestly, it sounds like the perfect game for the Easter period. And the final bunny game I have to talk about isn't quite finished yet. However, the demo is now live, meaning that you can try it for free now. This is Luna Hop, and this is another adventure game set in a black and white Seoul. Luna Hop has uniquely combined city landscapes with a traditional Korean-inspired fairy tale story, as the players must locate scattered moon fragments to restore color to the city. Don't expect this to be an easy feat though, as it does look like there will be puzzles to solve and platforms to jump. Even if you don't get a chance to try the demo now, be sure to add this to your wish list, as it will be coming later this year. If bunnies are not quite your thing, but you still want an animal-themed game with vibrant graphics that remind you of spring, then be sure to check out Camarero, a frog refuge. I put off playing this game when it first came out, but I have recently picked it up, and I'm questioning why I ever waited. In this simulation game, you play as Cleo, who helps out at a sanctuary for frogs. The goal is to build a suitable habitat and also restore the wetlands. If you are successful, you will attract a wide variety of frogs that you can feed, take pictures of, and even tame. As you advance, you can also buy new decor pieces, unlock new technologies, and even breed the frogs. Don't expect overly complex game mechanics here, as this gameplay is quite simple and easy to pick up, which is great if you're looking for a chilled gameplay experience. Camarero is available on PC, Switch, Xbox, and Steam Deck players. It is verified, so remember that too. Of course, we couldn't talk about spring games without adding a little greenery, so here I am with some games that will satisfy your virtual green fingers. First up, we have Urban Jungle, which released at the end of March, and although the majority of the plants here are grown indoors, it has a really cute graphic style which feels light and airy, so it's perfect for spring. The game draws similarities to unpacking as you follow the main character through various stages in their life. However, there is a big plant twist which involves a little bit of strategy, as you must place and satisfy the various plant species requirements to earn stars to allow you to progress to the next level. Although there is a little bit of puzzle game here, the general gameplay is very laid back and it was nice to read the story as well. Overall, the vibes are just super wholesome. I really do recommend checking this one out if you want a casual game with a whole lot of plants. The next game will challenge your brain a little bit more. This is Botany Manor. This is a narrative-driven puzzle which transports you to the English countryside in the 1800s, where you'll step into the shoes of the retired botanist named Arabella Green. As you follow her story, you'll explore the manor and its sprawling grounds, where you'll find lots of floral-themed mysteries. Each puzzle centers around discovering the ideal growing conditions for that specific plant, and the clues will be scattered throughout your surroundings. Your task is to observe and gather these hints and piece together the puzzle. While there are challenges to solve, the game maintains a laid-back pace, allowing you to enjoy it at your own rhythm. This laid-back gameplay combined with the warmth of the graphics makes for a good gaming option this spring. At number 9, we have a game that is not quite released yet, however it will be coming soon as it will be available from the 25th of April, so really not long to go. This is Hanako Flower Shop, and this is a story-rich game where you are able to run your very own flower shop, which is something I have been dreaming of for a very long time in a cozy game. Here you will play as Hanako, and whilst running the shop you will learn about the clientele, their stories, and how each flower can represent emotions. By listening to your customers, you will ensure that they receive the perfect floral arrangement. By helping others, you will also be able to help shape Hanako's journey and make choices that will help her flourish as an individual. This game also has a wonderful anime-inspired art style, which is abundant with flowers. Honestly, what is not to love? Up next, we have Garden Life, a cozy simulator. When I first played this game, I was a little bit addicted to it. It isn't the perfect game by any means, and it is in first player mode, which may put some players off, but if you're wanting to enjoy some chilled gameplay and simply grow some flowers, this one is a good one to try. The maintenance of the flowers is pretty straightforward, and you can even create hybrids, which is nice. There is a story mode, which as you progress, you'll unlock new areas and new items. There is also decorating in the game, and if you just want to try your hand at that, there is sandbox mode available too. This game is available on Switch and PC. I have not tried it on the Switch, so I can't tell you how it performs on that platform. However, I have got a full review video if you want to learn more about the gameplay, and I will link that below for you. As someone who struggles with procrastination, I try and avoid idle games, but Garden Galaxy is probably one of my favorites, if not one of the best on the market. In this game, you collect coins from sprites that spawn, and there are multiple different types of coins to collect. All of them will grant you different types of item. The game has so many different themes, meaning that you can find one to suit your own personal style. The decorating is also really easy and nicely done. This is a great game to relax to, or just have it on in the background, then return for a mad collecting spree. Although this obviously isn't spring related, you can make your own little spring themed garden, which is kind of nice. The final plant themed game is a free game. Yes, I said free. This is Plant Therapy, and no, it may not have the best graphics in the world, but for a free game, the gameplay is pretty nice. Set in an apartment, you are able to look after your plants. You will also be able to collect currency to allow you to go on shopping sprees for more plants to add to your collection, or furniture items to spruce up your apartment. Plant Therapy is perfect if you are just looking for a game to kind of satisfy that urge to look after some plants for a little while. And although the base game is free, if you do enjoy it a lot, there are some paid expansions if you want to play more. So there's a few plant games to get your teeth stuck into. The next kind of genre that I want to talk about is kind of symbolizing adding color to the world, and I think these kind of evoke the seasonal changes as we move from the bleak cold winter days into sunnier times. Firstly, we have Terra Nil, which has been in my library and on my to playlist for a very long time, but I still haven't got round to it quite yet. However, I am featuring it in this list because it has very positive reviews. This is an environmental strategy game all about transforming a barren, decayed environment back into a thriving ecosystem. So it is essentially like the opposite of a city builder game. Instead of building a sprawling metropolis, you are actually creating natural landscapes instead. But how do you do this? Well, there are a plethora of different eco-technologies that will aid you to do things such as cleaning polluted oceans and transforming soil into fertile land. The game also has some procedurally generated landscapes, meaning that your playthroughs will never be the same. Terra Nil is available on Switch, PC, and you can actually now play it via the Netflix app too on mobile devices. The next game is a little bit more emotional. This is Farewell North, and here you play as a border collie in Scotland whose goal is to restore colour to your human's world. Through the story-driven adventure, you will explore emotional themes about saying goodbye and the bonds between animals and humans. There are even some lighter-hearted moments such as herding flocks of sheep, locating lost ducklings, and even playing a game of fetch. If you are a dog lover, I really think that this one will be a nice one that will kind of warm your soul. Farewell North is available on all platforms, including the Switch, and it is also Steam Deck verified too. Another sandbox world building game is Equilinox, and this is another very relaxing game which can be played at your own pace by a casual player. However, you will still get a strong sense of accomplishment because there is so much to unlock. The world is a low poly art style, and you will start off small by placing blades of grass, but as you progress and work through the various challenges, you will soon have a thriving ecosystem on your hand. In addition to simple plants, there are animals such as sheep to unlock, and the game also stretches to the waterways, which will fill with seaweed and fish. There is also some genetic experimentation at play as you can evolve different plants. The evolving feature could perhaps have been a bit clearer in my mind, but it was still okay. This will be a grindy game, and the tutorial is a little bit sparse, but if you do want some mindless, relaxing gameplay, this one will be one to try. At number 16, we have Ete, which is actually set in the city of Montreal, so it won't quite give you those nature vibes. However, in Ete, you play as an art student who has recently moved to the city, and it's all about turning a black and white world and painting it with colour as you explore your new surroundings. In addition to exploring, you can also create your own works of art, sell, and also take commissions. You also have your very own apartment to decorate. I absolutely adored the watercolor graphics in this game, and it was highly addictive to capture the paint and transform the world. Although this game means summer in French, I definitely think this works for spring too, as there were some gorgeous sceneries and the colours have a really nice colour palette as well. When I first played this game, it did need some performance optimization, but in December of 2024, it does look like that has been done now as they put out a patch, so finger crossed it does run a lot smoother. I am currently in the midst of a total spring clean of my house from top to bottom, so I thought I would include some games which will give you that satisfying feeling of cleaning without actually physically having to do it. So first up, we have Spilled. Instead of spring cleaning your house, you are actually spring cleaning the oceans here, following an oil spill. You are able to sail through a variety of different waterways in your very own boat and restore the oceans and save some cute critters along the way. As you move through the levels, you will also find new upgrades to be made. Spilled is a relatively short game, but I don't think that is a negative, as you can kind of fit it in one, maybe two sittings. I do think the price tag is also very reasonable at £5, and some of the money is also donated to the whale and dolphin conservation charity. So not only are you getting a game, you're also supporting a good cause too, which we love to see. Next, we have Assemble with Care. This one isn't strictly about cleaning, as it's more about repairing objects that are loved by the characters, but this will still give you that feeling of accomplishment. There is a little bit of a story thrown in here too, as you play as an antique restorer who is traveling the world. As a restorer of broken things, you will also learn about the troubles of your customers who need your help. Each customer will have a sentimental object that needs repairing, and this is where you come in, as you have to tackle a small puzzle. The puzzles were quite straightforward at times, times, but I did think that controls could have been a little bit smoother. However, they were quite fun to kind of tackle and they weren't too challenging, which is always good. Overall, this was a nice way to spend a couple of hours. It is a relatively short game, so again, if you are looking for that shorter game that you can fully complete, this may be a good one to try. And how could I talk about satisfying games without mentioning A Little to the Left? This is another cozy puzzle game all about organizing. It is the perfect mindfulness and casual game as there are multiple solutions and nothing is going to leave you sat there struggling and wanting to rage quit. There are over 100 puzzles to solve and you will find all sorts of familiar household objects thrown into the game. If you have already played the base game, don't forget there are a variety of DLCs now available so you can continue the organizing. And finally, I just want to throw Tiny Glade in here. I know everyone probably already knows about this one, and if not, you've probably seen a stunning build on social media, but this was one of my favorite games of last year. And if you've not heard about this game before, it is a whimsical decorating game with very intuitive designs. If you're wondering why I'm featuring this one specifically in a spring games list, well, that is because you can play in a number of different seasons, and the spring option is honestly one of my favorites. The colors in this kind of aspect of the game are so stunning and you can create some wonderful kind of pastel color builds. Absolutely perfection. You can also pet the sheep, which is just extra bonus points as sheep kind of speak spring to me. So there we have it. There are some wonderful games to get you through the spring season. Let me know if you've played any of these, and if you were to recommend a spring themed game, what game would you recommend? Have a great rest of your day and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.